Your character voices are terrible.
No,
Brennan's are so much better.
my friends like them.
You don't have any friends.
Go away.
What?
Leave now and never come back.
You need us. We make you better.
Leave now and never come back. I'm free. It's not good to compare yourself to pro DMs, or anyone else, because all that matters is that you and your friends are having fun, but you can learn from them. Welcome to the table. I'm Kelly, and we're going to learn from Brennan Lee Lee Mulligan. Brennan. But first, thank you so much to Ghostfire Gaming for sponsoring this video. Aetherial Expanse is their new 5e compatible campaign setting. This 200+ page book explores a region of the astral plane called the Starlight Seas. It'll contain in-depth shipbuilding and naval combat rules that allow you to build a crew, gain reputation, and battle it out on the Ethereal Sea. Fully compatible with Foundry VTT and Roll20, this guide will contain at least 12 new subclasses like the Phantom Shrouded Sorcerer, over 30 new monsters and enemies, new heritage traits, spells, magic items, and a wealth of lore and adventure ideas. Go check out the song and trailer they made. It's a great pirate shanty. Aetherial Expanse is live on Kickstarter, so head to the link down in the description to grab your copy. This video contains a few spoilers from the first season of Dimension 20's Fantasy High. In an interview, Brennan said that the single most important skill to have as a DM is listening to your players. He defined listening not just as hearing the words they're saying, but being fully aware of everything that they are communicating to you. This could be through their decisions, what they find fun, or what they choose to engage with in the world. By listening to what your players are interested in the world and how they want to interact with the world, you can have the world react to them. If you can watch and listen to the decisions and actions of your players and then make those decisions and actions have big consequences in the world, your players will truly feel like the heroes of the story. Brennan absolutely takes his own advice and fully embodies this in his DM style. Throughout the first season of Fantasy High, Allie Beardsley's character, who's a cleric, has a crisis of faith. In the finale, Allie's character speaks with the void of the universe and is given an opportunity to create their own god. This was the result of Brennan listening to Allie's character choices throughout the season and allowing Allie to fully explore this character arc, which culminated in their decisions having lasting impacts on the world. So the first big lesson we can learn from Brennan is listen to your players and allow their decisions to guide the story and shape the world. The rules in D&D exist to bring balance to the game and to give us a framework to play in, but they should never get in the way of fun or creativity. If a player wants to do something creative and fun, but it goes against how a spell or item or mechanic works, Brennan will ask for an additional check, and if it succeeds, he'll allow it. Most importantly, this rewards player creativity, but it also creates a fun moment of tension at the table as the player rolls to see if this wild thing succeeds. So tip number 2 is reward creativity by using an additional check to let players bend the rules. In the first episode of Fantasy High, there were 2 PC deaths. The players were all level 1 and they all rolled terribly during the fight. I'm pretty sure Brennan had expected 1 player to die, but I don't think he had expected more than 1. I obviously don't know that for certain, but either way, he kept calm and came up with a story-based solution to bring those characters back to life. No matter what's going on at the table, if the players aren't going in the direction he expected, or if a fight is way more difficult or way easier than he expected, he keeps calm and finds a creative solution. If things don't go the way you expect, you can just ask to take a short break while you prepare something, or ask to end the session there and use the time between sessions to come up with a creative solution. If your players find a loophole in your BBEG's plan and then womp them, just let it happen. You can pick up the pieces between sessions and find a creative solution as to why the BBEG can come back, or why that wasn't the real BBEG, or whatever fits your story. As a player, it's so much fun to feel like you got to pull one over on the DM. The only wrong answer in that situation is to panic and start making up unfair rules to stop your players from doing whatever they're doing. That's not fun for anyone at the table. So lesson 3, don't panic if things don't go the way you planned. You can always find a solution. Brennan railroads his players. Sort of. In a Q&A video, Brennan was asked about his thoughts on railroading, and he said, ideally, your players will choose to follow the tracks that you're laying down. In other words, if your plot and story hooks are enticing, then your players are going to follow the story. The playstyle that works best for you will depend on your group. Some groups like to play a very sandbox style of game where the players completely drive the story and choose what they pursue, and others prefer a more linear story or railroad style. For me as a player, I like being railroaded. I like when a DM presents one plot hook that I can pursue to uncover a larger plot. D&D is collaborative storytelling, where the DM DM and players have to work together. The DM needs to watch the players and figure out what they're interested in, but the players have to do their part by somewhat following what the DM is prepping. It doesn't work if they're both pulling in opposite directions. Everyone needs to work together to steer the story where they all want it to go. So tip number 4 is don't be afraid to railroad your players if that's the kind of campaign they want to play.
I'm crazy.
There's a common thread in most of Brennan's DM advice, and that is the players come first. At the end of the day, the whole reason you're gathered around the table or Discord call is to have fun playing a game together. Compelling story, great villains, cool NPCs, engaging battles are all in service to your players. Your players are the heroes of the story, so make them feel cool. It's easy to get caught up in making sure your encounters are balanced and that the game is difficult enough, but occasionally it's really fun for your players to get an easy win and feel like badasses. So if you botch an encounter balance and your players womp you, that's okay. As well as getting an easy win every once in a while, it's also important to make sure your players are driving the story. Brennan never has his NPCs or villains overshadow the players, and if there are big progressions in the plot, it's caused by his players' actions or inactions, not by the actions of an NPC or any passive force. So lesson 5, don't forget that your players are the heroes of the story, so make them feel cool. And another way to make them feel cool is to give them a powerful cursed item that they'll actually want to use. You can check out this video here for some tips on creating or modifying cursed items. I appreciate you.